Did you guys know that a nightclub owned by Jay-Z was named after one of the most prestigious achievements in sports? I'm talking about the 40-40 Club. For those who may not know, 40-40 is a baseball term. It's a benchmark for power and speed. The 40-40 Club is made up of MLB players who have hit 40 home runs and stole 40 bases in one season. Currently, there are only 4 members who have ever gotten into the club in the history of the game. Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and the last to do it was Alfonso Soriano. Why do I bring this up? Because the 40-40 Club has recently seemed intangible without the use of performance-enhancing drugs, as 3 out of those 4 players were linked to PEDs. Now the 40-40 Club seems attainable with MLB's new rules coming into play in 2023. Bigger bases and restrictions on pickoff attempts have now given base stealers a true advantage. I'm going to highlight 5 players that have now entered into a much more realistic 40-40 conversation. If not this year, then at some point in the future.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I'm X, a former MLB player turned analyst and broadcaster, and I'm bridging baseball's generational gap. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new content that I'm dropping. Now let's get to my top 5 40-40 Club candidates. There are 2 players on the Atlanta Braves that could possibly find themselves in the ultra-exclusive 40-40 Club one day. Michael Harris II is one of them, and he made it look like he was playing sandlot baseball last year when he made his Major League debut. Everything seemed to come easy for the NL Rookie of the Year from a power and speed standpoint. He only played in 114 games and still hit 19 homers and had 20 stolen bases. It may be a stretch to say at some point he may reach 40 homers, but if you factor in another year of experience, at least 150 more plate appearances, and add 40 games of production, we may be talking about one of the biggest offensive threats in the game. One of the advantages he has is the lineup around him. An extremely stacked Atlanta Braves lineup continues to give him the opportunity to be pitched to, and he will constantly look to get into scoring position via the stolen base. Ultimately, I don't even think he's touched the surface of his poolside power potential either. Harris II has a shot at the 40-40 Club one day. Do you guys remember the power display Julio Rodriguez put on in the Home Run Derby last year? He put the world on notice that the power was real. And the AL Rookie of the Year ended up hitting 28 homers and swiping 25 stolen bases in just 132 games, which ultimately makes the 40-40 Club seem increasingly realistic one day for the J-Rod show. He's still just 21 years old, so it's safe to say that he hasn't even tapped into his man strength yet. His speed and aggressive play on the field will always keep him in contention to be one of the better base stealers. The main thing for him will be to remain healthy, as the sky's the limit for this kid who became the fastest player in MLB history with 15 homers and 20 stolen bases, doing it in just 81 games. That's better than Barry Bonds. And remember, Barry Bonds is one of only 4 players in history to achieve the 40 homers and 40 stolen bases feat. J-Rod now belongs in the 40-40 Club conversation. The next dude that belongs in the 40-40 Club conversation had the quietest back-to-back 30-homer seasons, mainly because of the stars that he has surrounded around him in the lineup. The Astros' Kyle Tucker has done some pretty incredible things in a short amount of time in the show. He's no doubt one of the biggest power speed threats that we have in the game today, and he's rarely talked about the way he actually should be. Last year, he had 30 homers and 25 bags. He's shown a tendency to run a little bit more and looks like he could be one of the few players that has the green light in that Houston lineup. I expect the bags to go up with the new rules, and he's a guy I could easily see hitting 40 homers at some point in his career. The main question will be how much he wants to continue to run as his career progresses. He's young, he's motivated, and still looking for that big contract. Put Tuck in that 40-40 conversation. The last time we saw Fernando Tatis Jr. play meaningful games, he was an all-star, won a Silver Slugger, and finished 3rd in MVP voting. But should we assume that he will be back to his old self? Throwing aside his suspension for PED usage in 2022, he realistically might be the next player to enter the 40-40 Club. In 2021, he hit 42 homers and stole 25 bags in only 130 games at the age of 22. Now, assuming he was not using PEDs during that season, the numbers he put up indicate he could be a lock for a 40-40 season in the near future. The power isn't the question. as he was hitting most of those homers with a torn labrum. And the speed isn't a question either, as he's one of the fastest guys in the league according to sprint speed, and was only caught stealing 4 times in 29 attempts in 2021, meaning he could ultimately be more aggressive on the base paths. No doubt he'll be drug tested a lot this year, but if he's balling like we saw him doing in 2021, not only is he a lock for a 40-40 club one day, but we can then assume he wasn't using PEDs in 2021 and clear his name of any cheating in the past. Mark my words, Ronald Acuña Jr. will be the next player who will enter the 40 homer, 40 stolen base club if he stays healthy this season. In 2019, we saw Acuña hit 41 homers and swipe 37 bags. He was close to 40-40 that year until a hip injury hampered him in September. Acuña is currently the only active player to even reach a 35-35 season at any point in their career. The reason I think Acuña gets back to those 2019 numbers is because he put up good numbers even after that year. It's just been his games played that have been shortened. In the shortened 2020 season, he played 46 games and hit 14 homers. That's well past 40 homer pace for a full season. Then in 2021, before he tore his ACL, he was on pace for well past 40 homers again as he hit 24 in 82 games. If there was ever any doubt that he could reach a 40-40 season, it was going to be on the stolen base side. But last year's aggressiveness after the ACL recovery showed me that the legs are really back, as he swiped 29 bases in 119 games. Could we see history from Ronald Acuña Jr. soon? And let me know who you guys think is the next player to enter the 40-40 club.